Malaria has very similar symptoms with typhoid, but today I bring you the major difference between the two. We are in celebration of World Malaria Day, and children remain the big enemies of malaria. So please take a seat and let's salvage the lives of your children from the hands of malaria. I'm your servant, Emmanuel Nanayebu, your lab scientist on Modern Natural Clinic. I wouldn't leave you, but I'll give you a home remedy. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow me if it is on Facebook, and make sure you are sharing for others to also get to know of this community. We get infected with malaria when we are bitten by female Anopheles mosquito that has the parasite Plasmodium, which causes malaria. When the parasite gets into our bloodstream, it hides itself in our liver where it reproduces itself over time. Then in appropriate time, the liver begins to release the parasite into bloodstream. And this is where you have onset of symptoms, usually similar in both typhoid and malaria, which are chills, sour mouth, loss of appetite, headache, vomiting. But usually in the case of malaria, our spleen destroys the parasite. And so between the release of parasite into bloodstream and when the spleen destroys them, usually until the liver brings a new batch into bloodstream, in the case of malaria, once again, your headache goes up and down. So it's not continuous. And this is what sets the difference between malaria and typhoid. In the case of typhoid, your headache is continuous, and this is the major difference. When you suspect malaria and you find yourself in any laboratory, the golden standard for diagnosis of malaria, the Plasmodium parasite, is microscopy. But due to the destruction of the parasite in bloodstream by the spleen, you might have microscopy occasionally negative, though you are still infected with the Plasmodium parasite, malaria. In this case, malaria RODT rapid test will prove positive, and that should be recommended. This is similar in the case of cerebral malaria, where the parasite hides itself in the brain, and it's a serious situation which leads a lot into mental disorders. Also in this case, malaria RODT will prove positive. As a result, if your microscopy test proves negative, you may need to do rapid test for malaria. If both prove negative, I would advise you do typhoid test since they have similar symptoms. If all three prove negative, please follow me. I'll be coming up with a video to show you the next thing to do. This is your boy Siama, your lab scientist. In the case of children, the spleen stresses in destroying the parasite. So usually when a scan is performed for a child suffering from malaria infection, you have the spleen and liver inflamed and enlarged in a condition called hepatosplenomegaly. This is due to the fact that children have underdeveloped system and organs, also coupled with the fact that children have underdeveloped immune system and also have smaller body size compared to adults. When you perform microscopy for both children and adults, you usually have high parasite density in the case of children. And this is what makes malaria infection very delicate and serious in the case of children, which we should never joke with because it can easily take the life of the child. In effect, I would advise parents to rush children to the hospital whenever they suspect malaria. Please, in Ghana, you have the right, the freedom to buy certain drugs from the pharmacy shop on your own, sometimes without the prescription from a physician. So please do not be afraid, do not lie. Whenever you're coming to the hospital, come with the boxes of any drug you might have given to your kid. This will tell which test to choose for your child, be it microscopy or malaria RODT. So we can know whether there is an infection that is treated or an infection which we should continue treatment. On the home remedy, please, children usually under 5 years are exempted. They are contraindicated to the home remedy I'm going to give you. The reason is simple. Like I told you, a child suffering from malaria already has the liver stressing. So please, you don't exacerbate situations with concoction that already has measurement issues. Your servant, your boy Siama, I don't usually deal with higher plants when it comes to my home remedies. But neem tree is what I'm going to talk about. And it's a tree that is commonly known in the African community. So like everybody uses it, please cut the leaves and boil. This time, I expect you to add or include old cocoyam leaves to the neem tree leaves. And this will give you iron. Please thrive on balanced diet, most especially in the case of children, include green leaves, vegetables, fruits, fish, and eggs in their meals to regain the blood they've lost, because malaria infection usually leads to loss of blood. Also include legumes, soya beans, and the likes to their meals. This balanced diet will lead to rapid replenish of the lost nutrients, iron, vitamin B12, and B9. As we say kudos to all health workers that are involved in the fight of Plasmodium parasite malaria, please let's do our part in our homes by weeding around the environment, treating stagnated waters, making sure we don't throw plastics and rubber materials around. Please, they have only one destination, which is our gutters and water runways. Please, let's stop stagnation of waters and stop the breeding of mosquitoes. This is your servant Emmanuel Nana, your lab scientist. Please subscribe to this channel. Follow me if it is on Facebook, and make sure we meet up in the next release.